Okay, class, so here's what's going to happen. I am going to go through and look at a few specific problems that I know you probably have questions on. They're going to be different problems than what we looked at in class. Okay, so let me get this sort of zoomed in here, right? They're going to be different problems than we looked at in class. And then at the very end, I'm going to sort of go through and do a really quick, not tons of explanation included. Sorry, I'm all wobbly. I'm trying to get set up. Not tons of explanation included, but I am at least going to go through and do every single problem so that you can see an answer and sort of the work that I would do to get it. Okay, so we did sort of the big problems from the front page, but I do want to look at number 6. Okay, so number 6 is dividing with exponents. So here we want to take the coefficients in front and we want to reduce them. So if we're going to reduce 6 over 8, guys, I still feel like this isn't close enough. Let me help. Okay, so if we're going to reduce 6 over 8, right, we're really dividing. We're looking for something that will go into each of them. Okay, so I can divide each of them by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, then we're going to subtract the exponents. So 8 minus 4 gives me 4, which is positive. So I'm writing it on the top, right? When we subtract, if we get a positive exponent, it goes on the numerator. If we get a negative exponent, it goes on the denominator. So here, when we take 7 minus 19, we get negative 12. Since that's negative, it's going to go on the bottom of the fraction. And so we would pick D. Okay, then let's take a look at number 9. Number 9 is a subtraction problem, right? We have this here and this here with a subtraction sign in between. So make sure you notice, right, this subtraction sign right here is very different than down here where we don't see anything in between. That's multiplication and when we want to distribute. This, on the other hand, is subtraction. And remember, we always want to turn subtraction into addition. So I'm going to turn this into an addition sign and then change the sign of everything following it. So this was a positive 5, so I'm making it a negative. This is a positive 2, so I'm making that a negative. This is a negative 3, so I'm going to make that a positive. Then once I've changed it to addition, then I just need to combine like terms. These are already in order, right? 2, 1, no exponent, 2, 1, no exponent. So here I have an exponent of 2, and here I have an exponent of 2. Right, in your calculator, if you want your calculator to help you, you could just do 8 plus negative 5, which gives us a positive 3. The label stays the same. So we're keeping that w squared. Right, then we could do negative 4 plus negative 2. So we'll get a negative 6w. And then we'll do a negative 6 plus 3, which will give us minus 3. And so we will want to pick option B. Okay, same thing on 10. Now this isn't subtraction, this is addition, which means we don't have any signs to change. So all that orange stuff we did above, we can ignore, and we're just going straight to combining like terms. So these both have an exponent of 2, so they go together. A 3u squared plus an 8u squared is going to give us an 11u squared. Sorry, that's a really weird u. An 8u plus a negative 8u is just 0, right? We won't write it down if we get a 0. And then a 5 plus a 6 gives us an 11. And so we will pick option B. Okay, number 12, we have multiplication, right? Because we don't see an operation in between those. So in here, we're going to distribute. So when we distribute, we multiply the big numbers. So 3 times 8 will give us 24. And then we will add the exponents. So 7 plus 7 gives us 14. Okay, then we'll distribute to the next piece. 3 times 5 is 15. Now, this is an x, and this is a y. So we can't add those exponents. Right here, it was an x and an x, so I could add those. But because these have different bases, we can't add them. So they just stay as their individual pieces. X to the, oh, that's a 4. X to the 7, y to the 4th. And so we will pick option D. Okay, and I also want to look at a few of the free response pieces. Okay, so number 20, right? Whenever we have this exponent of 2 outside of a binomial, that tells us that we want to write this binomial twice. So 3m minus 6 times a 3m minus 6. And this is where we're doing that multiple steps of distributing. So we're going to ignore this minus 6, and we're just going to focus on the 3m and distributing it. So 3m times 3m, right? 3 times 3 is 9. M times m is an m squared, because we're adding the exponents, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we're going to take the 3m to the negative 6. So 3m times negative 6 gives us a negative 18. The m is still part of that term. Right, and then we're just going to kind of swap. So now I'm going to ignore the 3m, and now I'm going to distribute the negative 6. So negative 6 times 3m is a negative 18m. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. And we can add straight down. So my 9m squared is just coming straight down. Right here, if you need to use a calculator, you could put in negative 18 plus negative 18. It's always addition here. Okay, so we'll get a negative 36m plus 36, and that will be our final answer that we'd put over here on the blank. Number 24 has 3 pieces, but because it's multiplication, those can all get multiplied together. So we'll take all of these 3 pieces and multiply them together. Okay, you can, for real, just pick up your calculator if you want to and just type in negative 6 times 3 times 2. Apparently I have a lot of 36s going on. Okay, then we're going to look for a matching variable. So this is an A and this is an A. So those can be added together. So we'll take that 7 plus that 3, which will give us a to the 10th. The b to the 8th doesn't have anything that it matches with, so it just gets tacked on to the end. Okay, number 30 is division. When we divide with exponents, right, we said this piece right here can get divided with each individual piece. So I would rewrite it so that you're looking at it more like number 23, where it's a fraction. I just already have it split into all 3 places. So 16 divided by 2 gives us 8. 4 minus 1 is 3, right? When we divide, we subtract exponents. Negative 4 divided by 2 gives us negative 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Positive 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. And this piece right here will be our answer. 8x to the 3rd minus 2x squared plus 5x. Now, I gave you some steps to start 31 in class, but I did not work it all the way out. Okay, so we said we would find the area of the large one first by multiplying its length and width. So we'll take 2x plus 2 times a 3x minus 4. Right here, we should be doing this distributive property. So we'll get a 6x squared minus 8x plus a 6x minus 8. Okay, so when we add those, that gives us a 6x squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay, then we're going to find the area of the smaller shape. So we'll do x minus 3 times an x minus 6. Okay, so we'll get an x squared minus 6x minus 3x plus 18. So when we combine those terms, we'll get an x squared minus 9x plus 18. Okay, and then our last step is that we want to subtract this off over here. So I'm going to subtract off x squared minus 9x plus 18, right, because we're removing that area from the inside. And whenever we subtract, right, we really want to add the opposite. So that's why I'm changing that sign going through. So that gives me a 5x squared plus 7x minus 26. And that would be my final answer there. Okay, last one that I'm going to show you all the work for here if you sort of want the big major ones. Okay, number 34, we're solving a system. I would choose substitution on this because it says y equals, right? So we're circling the y and underlining the 3x plus 7. Okay, so in place of the y, I'm going to put 3x plus 7. So I now have an equation that says 4x minus 2, and then in parentheses, 3x plus 7 equals 4. We'll distribute here. Make sure when you're distributing, right, you're distributing a -2, so that makes it a -14. These variables are on the same side, so we're going to combine them with the same sign. So 4x minus 6x is a -2x. Let's see, -2x is 18. So that says x equals -9. We'll then take this -9 and we need to find the y value, right? And we're going to plug it in back up here. So we'll say y equals 3 times -9 plus 7. We'll get -20. So our final answer will be -9, comma, -20. Now, I'm going to really quick now go through and just sort of fill in answers. So I'm not going to give full explanations. I'm just going to kind of go through and do some work here. So number 1, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is D. 2, when we multiply, we add exponents. So we'll get 6x to the 14th. Exponent to an exponent on 3, we multiply. So that gives us k to the 8th. 4, we did in class together, but I'll really quickly sort of go through here. So we'll pick A. 5, division we subtract, which gives us a -4, so that's the denominator. Here we're going to add up the exponents, which gives us 12. 7 and 8 we did in class. This is a trinomial with a degree of 2, so this is C. Perimeter tells us to add up, so I'm going to combine all the like terms. So we'll pick B. Obviously, you don't need to work this fast. Feel free to press pause at any moment if you need to stop and write some things down. Oh, this is a 12. That's my fault. Try that again. So choose A. Right, this one I can write in either order. They're still like terms. So that gives me a 10x squared plus 1xy minus 21y squared, which is A. Here I'm going to have a lot of pieces. I'm going to fit those over here on the side. A. Right, we need to give the exponent here to the 5. So in your calculator, right, you could put in 5 up caret 3. We multiply, so 125 k to the 6th. Just adding straight down. Make sure your exponents stay the same as you add. 36 divided by 12 is 3. 10 minus 16 is -6, so it goes on the bottom. -4 minus -6 is a +2, so that goes on top. Divide each of these individually by 3x squared. We divide, we subtract. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and those variables cancel out. So we have 25x squared minus 9. 26 is subtraction. Subtraction we'll want to change into addition and change the sign of everything following. And distribute here. Don't worry about that negative. It will take care of itself when we distribute. So 16x to the 11th, y to the 6th. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus negative 3 is 3. Can't combine those, so we're just done there. Here we're still just multiplying out. We'll get a 10x squared. That's still a like term, so I'm going to put it here. Okay, 29, be careful because right here we have a subtraction sign, so this is not the same thing as 28. Here we're going to change this subtraction into addition and change the sign of everything following it. So a 5x and a 6x is 11x. Negative 10 and negative 3 is a negative 13. Okay, here we could just explain what we did up here in 31 with finding the area. 32, right, Timmy should have taken 3 times 3, which is 9. He should have multiplied those numbers instead of adding them. 33, our slope is 50. Our y-intercept is 60, right? This is representing water boiling over time. So this is the temperature increasing over time. Could say the temp per time. Okay, the y-intercept is always our starting point, so this is going to be our starting temp. 34 is already done, so there's all your answers for your review packet.